So I'm just reviewing some of my old story here. Yeah, this clip, it took me a year and a half to do, but because when I started out, I'm chasing perfection. I wasn't willing to be too experimental. It actually generating new story in a completely new environment I was very unfamiliar with. Even with AI assist, was very tough. I'm looking at these clips and I'm just trying to figure out a workflow where I can do things a little bit faster today. Editing has been interesting. I think video editing is more important for video AI than anything else. I'm planning to take some course and learn high-end editing skill even, just to get some professional technique, because I don't think that you can advance in the storytelling medium game with anything less than being that dedicated. I think it's an essential skill. So I'm learning from YouTuber or teaching edit course about editing the professionals, and it helps a little bit. There's a perspective where they say before you finish a story, before you generate a story like these video AI, right, you want to have an end result in mind. So here, by the end, most of the clips at the beginning, middle, and end phase, well, I kind of know where they're gonna go. So at the end, it makes more sense. If you're gonna tell a story and then afterward think about how you're gonna edit, it's just not gonna come out very cohesive. And I find some story where I'm a little bit lazy, where I lax a little bit, where I'm less thoughtful. No matter how hard I try, even in the editing, it comes across very dry and wanting. So it's quite essential to throughout the project from the very beginning to plan for it. That's what I find. For being time saving, sometime I like to I plug all these images into the Shotcut playlist here, and then I usually take a day or 3-5 time, and I come back after reviewing once or twice, and I'm just letting it sit there and breathe and let me think about it in the background. That way I can kind of not work too hard, too fast, because with editing, it's more like an emotional gauging where the timing and pacing of the story. So this way, 2-3 days later, I already kind of know, I already had time to sleep on it, and then I kind of know which part it goes where for how long, and then that helps a little bit. For instance, if I'm trying to rush it all in a day, it feels like I'm forcing it. I just need time to feel and think. Clips like this where I generate 3 of them altogether, I'm also debating which one to use as well. Yeah, what was I? I was saying I was learning how to cut images video clips that were failed, or that the story doesn't need. So if there's a broken generation, I don't worry about the cutting anymore. Before I used to be very obsessed about spending credit, and then I have to use this clip, I have to use that clip, for cost and reason. But then, after generating for a whole year, I'm relaxed about it, and then now I realize, I don't worry too much. Here in this clip, at the end of the day, I might have to cut some of them because I might have overdone this girl character a little bit. I went over a Kling, and then I went at a Wong. Wong was cheap anyway. Wong 2.2 it was, and I was like, I just started doing a whole bunch of clip with her, and then I think I overdid some of them where the story doesn't need her to be all on the phone all of the time. I might have to move it along, One over here, another one over there. We'll see. Until you put it all together, you really never know. And then I'm also thinking that some of the scenes, right? I might not even have enough scenes. There's a place where, let's say she was in school for a moment in the university, and I'll move away to the dorm room. I might not have the exact scene that I want. I might have to generate a new one, things like that. But most of the fillers should make it less work. Most of the time, after a character moment, I would just plug in the scene in there, and that way, there's a little bit more of a world building there. Still very new to short listing, but the short listing basic principle people were saying just if there's a character dialogue, then go medium shot. You go from wide to zoom in. I mean, in filmmaking, there's something called the establishing shot or the master shot, right? The master shot is when video AI doesn't really count because the master shot is a wide shot of the whole scene of the character place sitting at a table or something like that. Back then you couldn't even do multi-character when I did this, so it doesn't really make any sense. I don't think as a video AI guy I need a master shot. I think I need to be a little bit more planned about my moment to moment. But this story was so early in 2024 without any nano banana camera control or anything like that it just comes across like a whole bunch of Midjourney images, and then I just try to slap on as much of a cohesive story as I can. I'm just let the dated technology be what it is and not try to go back and change too much. I'm just gonna move on. I'm just keep it as is. But it's nice to look back at some of the earlier things and then realize that the hardware constraint of what it was, from where it is now. Yeah. This clip here, these monsters, right? I liked it so much. I put a later model Kling on it, and so this one was just Midjourney video, I think. Yeah, the girl is studying an alien UFO, and basically she's reading a library of books, and she's imagining these things as being real, and just the story just being funny about it. Let me see. Yeah. Just lizard things, just walking, talking, and there's a whole mountain of books. These clips impress me because on the image end, Midjourney images, I started going to the quality 2 back in Midjourney version 6, and I realized it had a lot of detail even for Midjourney. If you go quality 2, it add a whole bunch of detail, and back then it was quite to me it was quite revolutionary. But I also realized that normally I wouldn't want to go quality 2 because quality 2 back then was a little bit too tense. Like it intensifies the scene a little bit too much. You get to see it again here, where there's way big. There's a lot of detail happening in the scene. Sometimes it overwhelms you. That if you give the audience too much of these things, it becomes sort of like a little hoarder of information, and it kind of blows your image up. Where if you go back to normal quality, right? Well, you're asking if I could go higher quality, why don't I go higher quality all the time? And the idea is because, yeah, not all the time do you want over details. Sometimes in the scene or two flashing by, it's there to illustrate that the girl is studying boatloads of books, and she doesn't care. She's a bit of a nerd. She's a book reader, She's going crazy at it. But then normal scenes, I want the scene to be, to be very clean. I want a moment where the audience is able to rest their eyes and not overthink too much. I'm learning that is a value. For scenes like this, I don't even use I don't even use quality 2. Well, maybe back then I needed it for Midjourney version 6. Version 6 was never good with environment. It was in fact very deficient with environment. But that is what it was. That's what I had to work with. Yeah. Almost all Midjourney version 6 images, I felt that if I had Topaz Bloom or something, and upscale and add a little more detail, would have been better. But then the color always turned up to be a little bit different, and the native color for Midjourney has always been a little bit better. Yeah, so I give it 2 to 3 days interval, and then give it a time, and then just come back. I usually look at it, give it a little bit moment to look at it, and I'm just gonna start releasing the clips in the coming days. And that's been my trick to work around. All right, that's it for video editing.